Hello, welcome to another Cycle Tech review video. Today we've got something a bit different rather than any sort of techie stuff. It's something to keep your home, your pain cave, your cellar, wherever you keep all your kit, a bit tidier. I'll put some images up for how I store my helmets, sunglasses and shoes, and it's not very pretty. It's not the most house and homes type affair, but instead there's a company, and it's a company that's local to me down in East Sussex, called SpokeLine Creations. Small company where they're producing some nice little gear storage. You've probably seen some of this online where people are keeping their helmets, shoes, computers sort of nicely displayed and safe and clean and tidy, especially things like helmets. You don't want to be just throwing them down. And it's a way of storing them, keeping them out of harm's way, and they also look really nice. They're really nice sort of bits of furniture to have in your house, a nice bit of design. I've got two here. There's a vertical and a horizontal one. SpokeLine, like I say, they're a small local company, and they make their gear organisers out of, I'll show you in a minute when we do the unboxing, combination of oak. So they machine the oak down, use hard wax oils to then preserve and bring up the sort of natural luster of the wood. They then 3D print various attachments and hooks. You can specify, you can have your bike computer on there, your head unit, so you can say what kind you've got, whether you've got a Garmin or a Wahoo, and they'll print out the right kind of attachment so that it actually fits on. You're not just put it on, you're actually clicking it in place so it's secure, it's not going to fall off. And those parts are all 3D printed using which I wasn't aware of, a material called PLA, which is it's a sort of bioplastic. So instead of being produced from petroleum, I think they use cornstarch, or what's left over from sort of processing corn and things like this, and basically it produces a bioplastic, which is a lot more environmentally friendly and apparently very good for using in 3D printing. So like I said, I've got two of them. We've got a horizontal and a vertical one, depending on how you want to display your kit, and they basically come with the fittings that you need. You just tell them what kind of bike computer you've got, so they can print out the right attachment for you, and then you put them up at home and they look lovely. Like I said, I'll show you how I store my stuff, and then I'll show you the images of how they think you should store your stuff, and I think you'll agree their way's better. But anyway, let's get inside the boxes and see what you actually get from SpokeLine. Okay, here we go. We've got the two SpokeLine gear organisers. Let's see what we get inside. Cardboard packaging so far, paper-based tape. That's all good. There we go. Some nice paper-based packaging and some bubble wrap. Here we go. Let's have a look inside. Let's give that a little so, like I say, these are made from oak, which are machined and planed down. This is the back, so here you got the front. As you can see, it's a nice bit of wood, that. It's got a lovely sort of waxed, smooth waxed feeling to it. And this is, like I say, 3D printed mounting piece there, I assume. Got a couple of brackets there. And then inside you have, now I think I'm right in saying these are the shoes, for holding the shoes rather. Not sure which way they go around, but part of the idea of the shape of this is that as it's like got this not round profile, once you hook that on, it can't really go anywhere. The shape holds it in place, right? Unlike some which have sort of got a circular finish to them. So these sort of stop the whole thing spinning around. And this is your combination That's a nice tight fit there. So basically your helmet would hang off here and your glasses will sit on top there. And then inside, what else do we have? Let's have a look. We've got a bike mount fitted. Now that has a G for Garmin. I'll have a test of that later on just to check it does fit, but here you go, you've got your Garmin fitting there. And then you also get a set of plugs, screw, and that's, let me just, so this is the piece you'll attach to the wall. So you screw that to the wall, and then I'm assuming that it will just go, there we go. So once that's on the wall, let's get it the right way around. So you've got that on your wall, and then that simply slots into there. So you got that much standoff. This is your wall here. You can see you've got a nice standoff there, and then it's easy to remove if you want to. That's very nice, very simple. Like I say, the wood, the finish on the wood is really nice. I mean, the colour is, well, it's a lovely oak colour, and the finish, it just feels really nice in the hand. Actually, it's a really nice object. Let's get a look in the other one. Okay, now we have the larger gear organiser. Again, let's see how easy this is to get into. Again, we've got a mixture of bubble and card packaging. Right, okay. Now we've got a tray here, which is also handily fixed our fittings to, so we know where they're going to go. So this tray, you can see from the shape here, will sit onto your main support, so you can put various bits and pieces on there. And then you've got, what would you call that, a T? I'm not sure what that will store, but we can have a look. Again, I think these are, okay, we've got something different going on here. Again, these I think are the shoe fittings, but they've got a different connection. And then another one. So these obviously have different ways of fitting. I haven't had a look at the instructions yet, so that's my excuse for not knowing where anything goes. But let's just put these to one side for the moment, and we will look at the instructions, I promise, before we put anything up. Okay, here we go. I've got a printout here. There you go, and it's giving you an explanation of how things go together. So you've got telling you how you mark the wall 50 centimeters apart, put your screws in, put small brackets to the wall, curved sides should be facing down, slide the wooden rack onto the two brackets, and then clip the accessories on. There you go, nice and simple. So this is, whereas the previous one you sat like that, this is a vertical. Again, we'll have a look at the, I mean, it's the same oak and 3D printing going on. I'll just carefully cut that. There we go. Just so you can get an idea of how the fittings work. I mean, they seem quite straightforward actually. It's a nice sort of clip on, nothing too complicated that will require a degree in DIY to finish off. 2 screws, nice and simple. Okay, so you can see, again, really nice piece of wood, nicely finished. All the sort of edges are nicely chamfered, and it's got that really nice waxed feel to it. If I bring down, you can see, so this is the fitting that you would apply to the wall. You can see it's shaped. I hope you can see it's shaped. And basically it will fit. I'm doing this sort of blind from the other side of the camera, so excuse me if I'm all thumbs and fingers, but let me just see if I can do it. There we go. Okay, so it's curved. This shape is curved as well. You've got a curved shape there, so you slot it in that way, and this is the plate. This is where you would fit your screws to, so your screw goes in there, so that'll be sitting on the wall. and I've managed to do it wrong again. There you go. So the screw will be there, that'll be sitting on the wall, and it just simply slides in like that, and you've got another one at the bottom there. So it's the same technique, nice and simple. So that's that. Then, as I said, you've got things like, let's have a look, you slide that on from above. This is like a just a tray, I guess, for putting stuff onto. I mean, you could put how does it go? Let's have a quick look. Oh, I see, it just pushes in from underneath. I'm being a bit candid here because I'm doing it from behind the camera, but it does actually, I tried it earlier, it does actually go on a lot easier than that. What I'm intrigued to see is, I see. So you've got these pieces, and then you can hang your shoe. Is it that goes on there? We'll have to do a proper, because you want it to be that way around. So let's have a look at how we do this. I'll pause, read the instructions properly, and then we'll come back. Okay, I spent a little time actually looking at how these units actually go together rather than just pulling out of the box. So this is your vertical one. Now, what SpokeLine have done is they've made the tolerances very tight so that once it's on, it won't move. But you can't just easily clip it on. You have got to sort of work from above, push it down. But once it's on, they slide up and down, but they stay in place. They don't scratch the surface, so that's good. Okay, so the mystery one that I wasn't sure of, that has this little bobble at the top, that's for your helmet. So that can either clip on. That's probably the most secure way. You could potentially have it that way as well. I mean, once it's on the wall, it's not going to be knocked, but I would just think that with the, I don't know what that's called at the back, the little arrestery bit that you tighten up with, but that just hooks nicely onto there. So I think that works better like that, because it's definitely not going anywhere. Then you can put whatever here, your door keys, some sweets, whatever. Your sunnies, or in the winter, not so sunnies, just sit on there quite nicely. They're not going to go anywhere. I was mountain biking these, so they're a bit muddy, but that means you're not just dumping onto a surface and then they get scratched. If you're spending a lot of money on sunglasses, you want to look after them, so this way they're not going to get scratched or messed about with. And if you've got small children, put them up high, and then they're not going to be tempted to run around the house with them. Your shoes, I think they go, let's see, from memory, so these are just sort of loose, unlike the horizontal ones where these were hanging this way. On the vertical one, they sort of hang like that, and then your shoe can just hook onto it there. There you go. I mean, my helmet's now probably disappeared out the top, but you can see it just hangs down. So again, it's out the way, it's not clutching up the floor. It's and if you've spent a lot of money on shoes, helmets and sunglasses, it's a good idea to keep them safe. So there you go, that's a really nice, and it's just very nice and simple. The fact that they've made it this oval shape means that these units, once they're on, they're not going to twist, so everything will line up nice and straight. I have seen some other versions of this where they use, well, basically it looks like a broomstick, but these units can, these attachments can then, you know, they might not just sit quite square. These, you know, they're going to be square, so they're going to line up nicely. I do think you'll then have to colour coordinate everything though, aren't you? You can't have like different colours of kit, so maybe you need multiple versions, one for your, you know, your good kit, one for your colourful kit, one for your rainy kit. I don't know, but yeah, I just think it's a nice way of organising your gear. And with that time of year coming around, and you've got somebody that you want to buy a cycling related present, but you don't fancy forking out thousands of pounds on a new bike, why not? Perhaps this could be a nice little option. From memory, they're a lot cheaper than some of the other ones I've seen on. They're around, definitely under £60. I think they're sort of £50. And like I say, they're all handmade. SpokeLine make them themselves in their workshop. They 3D print the attachments themselves. So yeah, a really nice bit of kit. Like I say, this is the vertical one, got the horizontal one, so it gives you a couple of different options. And like I say, it's a nicer way of storing your kit than what I currently do. So yeah, I really recommend these. The quality, like I say, the quality is really good. They go together nicely. The ideas work. Yeah, nice bit of kit. Well done, SpokeLine. See you later, guys. Thanks for watching.